Good morning, everyone. This morning we're continuing Merging with Śiva, Chapter 29, the Subsuperconscious Mind. Drawn from the 1967 Master Course as well as from the 1970 audio cassette edition and subsequent upadeshas. Wonderful to have some rain. Huh? We've been a little behind on our rain. Lesson 202, Bursts of Light and Intuition. Text. Intense desire for spiritual unfoldment eventually manifests itself in a breakthrough of actinic will, which permeates the subconscious mind of the devotee until he completely identifies himself as an actinic being. If anyone doesn't know the word actinic, it means spiritual, purely spiritual energies, actinic. This happens from within the deeper realms of man's mind and eventually manifests itself into consciousness, then into thought patterns, and then finally into speech and action. Oh, my comment. Gurudeva has made an important point, which is the goal is to identify oneself as an actinic being, and that the process is a gradual one. Doesn't happen all at once here. Starting in the deeper realms of man's mind, which means we're not really even aware that it's there. It's so deep. Then it manifests itself into consciousness. Try that one again. Then it manifests itself into consciousness. So it was so deep we didn't really know it was there, but now we're becoming conscious of being an actinic being. Then into thought patterns, meaning it impacts our thoughts. It's changing the way we think. And then finally into speech and action. So it changes our habitual ways of speaking and acting, making them more spiritual, less instinctive or intellectual. So beautiful paragraph by Gurudeva there. And back to the text. Actinic will also appears from the transference of desire from material objects and activity into finding some real solution within oneself for the eventual quest of all men, peace of mind. Oh, my commentary. Said another way, peace of mind only comes when we are focused on our inner self rather than material objects and activity. There's two great verses in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras on this idea. Verse, chapter 1. Try it this way. Chapter 1, verse 15. Dispassion, which is a translation of vairagya, can be recognized to have been mastered by those who have no desire for what is seen or heard about. So my comment on the verse, progress in yoga is not possible if our mind is constantly externalized by objects or people to whom it is strongly attracted, whether actually seen or simply heard about. Some commentators consider what is heard to mean what is described in Scripture, such as the heavenly worlds. Chapter 1, verse 16. The non-thirsting for the gunas which arises when the Purusha realizes its own nature, is the supreme state of dispassion. So Patanjali uses the word gunas for the world. So the non-thirsting for the world, which arises when the Purusha realizes its own nature, is the supreme state of dispassion. The second sentence of the definition of vairagya reflects the meaning of this verse. When the spiritual awakening takes place of the Purusha experiencing its own nature, there is a natural loss of interest in all of Prakriti's manifestations, which is another word for the world. And this is called paravairagya, the supreme state of dispassion. So basically, if it's not clear, it's tying into what Gurudeva said, which I'll repeat. Actinic will also appears from the transference of desire from material objects and activity into finding some real solution within oneself for the eventual quest of all men, peace of mind. So peace of mind is the Purusha's nature, the soul's nature. So the Patanjali and Gurudeva are saying the same thing. Back to the text. This actinic force becomes so strong, finally there is a breakthrough or burst of light. This happens quite naturally within many people who have not even availed themselves of classical yoga teachings. This first breakthrough throws into orbit, so to speak, the subconscious state of mind, for an infinitesimal flow of actinic force thereafter begins to permeate the subconscious mind, easing darkness or confusion or pressures of the conglomerated, accumulated force fields. After this first breakthrough, the devotee becomes more creative, kinder, a little happier, and more metaphysically inclined, for the subsuperconscious mind becomes another building force field. So, commentary. Gurudeva in his text said this first breakthrough of inner light. So that's what we're relating to here with the Shum word, namutana. The first experience of the fifth dimensional light of Yulof. This enters one into a new area of the mind by forming a new habit pattern. That's what the text has been talking about. Understanding of ni'imf. Namutana can take ni'imf into the seventh dimension through i'if and mi'if. Namutana, meaning first inner light experiences, establishes one firmly on the path within the fourth dimension when one has thoroughly understood where ni'if is. This portrait names only the initial experience and not any succeeding ones. So, in other words, it's a permanent awakening. There's a change. The first experience of inner light causes a certain change that doesn't go away. Back to the text. Occasionally devotees have flashes of intuition, bursts of prophetic knowing. Some devotees also occasionally enter trance states, when messages may come through their voice from the superconscious mind without their conscious mind knowledge. When the trance subsides, there is usually no memory of what they said or did. Such superconscious states are often brought forth by intense religious emotion, which occasionally becomes so overwhelming that it pierces the worldly subconscious and conscious mind. Your belief in your sub-superconscious power will also unfold your destiny in this life. I will be what I will to be. I will do what I will to do. You can repeat these two affirmations over and over, time and time again, and rearrange, restructure the forces of your subconscious mind and create a great inner peace within yourself. So I'll comment on that. That it's a very important part of Gurudeva's teachings, and as I mention regularly, lots of teachers of yoga, meditation, don't get into that aspect, but we're remolding the subconscious mind, not just learning to control our thoughts. In other words, yoga is sometimes thought of as just you're restraining our thoughts. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the restraint of mental activities. But those activities also come from the subconscious mind, and we need to remold it. And one of the ways Gurudeva gives us to remold it is affirmations. Turn on to actinic force and bring the forces of superconsciousness through your subconscious. This creates a feeling that you are what you say you are, positive, direct, full of life and energy and creative power. Your sub-superconscious mind proves this through your conscious mind, not only through feeling, but you will find yourself acting out the part in all kindness and security, exercising the positive will of I will be what I will to be, I will do what I will to do. Then we move on to the next lesson, 203, proceed with confidence. One of Gurudeva's favorite statements, proceed with confidence. I sometimes quote that in emails. As Gurudeva loved to say, proceed with confidence. Text. There are those who simply follow the pattern of odic force fields of others and never realize their actinic destiny because they have never had the ability to break through the odic force barriers with their actinic power. Actinic destiny is found by those who stand out from the masses and actually do something, who live a creative life for the benefit of others. Actinic power creates through the subconscious, but it is a flowing through or flowing out power. Odic power is a holding on to, a sort of sticky type of power. Move through odic force fields unnoticed. Those who have awakened their superconscious powers often become exuberant and, more than often, a wee bit egotistical. And yet, a deeper superconscious attribute is that of humility. Humility within itself is a power of the fullness of the superconscious mind, giving you the ability to move through the odic force fields unnoticed. Because of the nature of odic forces, which constitute people in their conscious and subconscious mind, cities, nations, and events, the flow of actinic force can or could be disturbing to certain force fields. The consequences have, through history, been disastrous from time to time. Therefore, keep your sub-superconscious knowledge and powers where they are, as an inner mechanism of you, available to your conscious use. Do not advertise your subsuperconscious power, because odic force fields of jealousy or fear could be stimulated against you. Therefore, learn to move inconspicuously in the odic force world while contributing to the beauty of the world through your conscious use of your subsuperconscious mind. All that is beautiful has come from the subsuperconscious powers awakened within man. So let your life shine by your actions rather than by your advertising subsuperconscious powers. There is no pride so great or hard to be rid of than spiritual pride. Having the availability of actinic force working through the subconscious mind can very easily become distorted into building up even a greater odic subconscious mind. And now, on the lighter side of thinking, here's another way to use your subsuperconscious powers consciously. When you know the next thing to do or the right thing to say, this is your subsuperconscious mind. Practice feeling confident, secure in the consciousness of the eternal now. Absorb the feedback from groups of people or people you are talking with, and when your subconscious mind has collected the feedback, feel dynamically the eternity of the moment, and you will know just the right thing to say or the next thing to do. This is using your subsuperconscious powers consciously. This is a very interesting point about working with a group of people, such as a committee meeting, for example, to manifest a project. The one approach, which is, of course, a very egocentric approach, is you bring your idea to the meeting, and it's a successful meeting if everybody accepts your idea, right? What other outcome would you want? But this is saying, no, let's use our superconscious powers. So what do? We're in the present, absorb the feedback from groups of people. So we listen to all the ideas, take it in, and then come out with a creative solution that we may not have thought of before. So it's a different approach to a meeting, that you're striving for an idea that's better than any idea that was brought to the meeting by the interaction of the group using their subsuperconscious powers consciously. The greatest thing that a devotee must learn is that all knowing is within oneself. Therefore, go to your university. It's a coined word based on university. Go to your university, your great subsuperconscious school, and bring forth knowledge. In order to do this, be confident within yourself. In order to be confident within yourself, have no fear. In order to have no fear, say to yourself, I'm all right now. This will quickly bring you into the consciousness of the eternity of the moment. You will feel actinic force permeating, or more life permeating, your body, which is subconscious, and your superconscious state of mind will be active. That is, go ahead in full confidence that you are the knower of all that is known. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.